Hello and welcome back to this video. I have it to say one more time. Very well done. If you went through all of the videos, if you're now familiar with merging, rebasing, cherry picking, if you know how you can look into your Git log and analyze the things, this is a huge amount of knowledge that you have built up in the previous videos. And yeah, in this video, we just want to relax ourselves a little bit and we just want to have a look how we can speed up our work with Git a little bit. And the first step is to create aliases. And I say this, a huge amount of aliases. You now know that Git commands can be a little bit more complex, like the git log command, and there are also commands that you have to use over and over again. And there are just some shortcuts we can use to simplify our work a little bit. And to do this, I just want to demonstrate to you a few things that I have done to set up my Git environment a little bit. And therefore, I will show you my bash profile and my alias file. And then I just go through some of the commands I use the most. To do this, I just will go into my users directory, since this is a home directory for our Git for Windows installation, and I will open this up with Visual Studio Code. And as you can see in Visual Studio Code, all of the directories are shown now. You will notice that on the very top is our SSH directory that we use to connect ourselves to a Git server. And then a little bit below, there's also a file called bash profile. The .bash profile file is generated automatically by the Git for Windows setup. The setup just puts a few lines on the very top of the file, and below them I just added a reference to my .files, so to my configuration files that I want to use for my terminal. And you see one command, it's a source command, and source command just loads and runs or executes a shell script. And as you can see, I have created a directory called .files where I can collect all of my configuration files. And then there's also a file called bootstrap file. And I just do not end up with a lot of source files here in my bash profile file for every configuration. That's why I just decided to source this out into a bootstrap file, and the bootstrap file then will load all other configuration files. And to know what the bootstrap file does, we just open up the .files folder here on the left. And then you can see that the bootstrap file just does a source itself and sources the git aliases.sh file. So I will now show you the aliases that are loaded into automatically into our terminal. Maybe this is also interesting to mention. As your terminal starts up, as your bash starts up, the .bash profile file will load it and execute it immediately, and that's why whenever we reference some files or scripts inside of these bash profile file, we can be sure that these files are loaded, and that's why we can load our aliases, our custom aliases as well. So the git aliases file, no worries, you do not have to type them all now. I just will place a link inside of the show notes of this video, and then you can just copy all of the commands. So I just go through the commands. The first command is the Git Status command, and you will use the Git Status command very often in your all-day work, and that's why I just aliased the Git Status command to S. And maybe I put the Visual Studio Code to the left and the terminal to the right side. And now I just attach a new .txt file. And now I could run git status and type all the things, but you can also just press S, and this will also run the git status command. So it's a really quick way to get to know which files are untracked, tracked, and so on and so on. Then there's also another thing. There is a git add command, and therefore I use a simple A. And with git add command, I now can simply just say add aa.txt, and showing up as again, this will show you that you have the changes that can be committed. So now I just have to press A and S, and I'm done with my work, right? And there's also an AA command just with the -- all thing, though you can add any file you like. So I have the same thing here for the commit, and the commit has just the sim alias, so you can name your aliases whatever you like. I just stick with those names. I'm a little bit inspired by the aliases of Alexander Gross, living here in Leipzig as well, and I really like the aliases and how he put the words around of these commands. So this is a thing that I really like. So so the sim command now I can just play. So edit aa.txt command. And as you can see, this will run the git commit command with already the -- message as well. I have also something called, so SEMA, I think it's clear, it's a git commit, and it already adds the -- all parameter as well. And there is a command called AAC. It's could be a little bit dangerous, so you have to keep in mind if you really want to do this. So AAC just will add every file, also the untracked files, and then it will just run the git commit command. And it's something that you may not want to do every time, since you want to just add a few files to your index and you want to leave out a few files. So just be a little bit careful with it, so that you do not end up with really large commits and nobody understands what you have committed right now. So then there's also a shorthand for git checkout. There I can simply just switch between branches or commits by typing CO. And there's also another alias called B for git branch, so I can list all of my branches, and I can then say CO feature A, and then I just switch to the other branch. So this is also very handy, and yeah, so B is the alias for a git branch, and if you want to list also the remote branches, you can type B -- all. So this will also show you the origin master branch that lives on your master, or on your Git server, of course. So there are also a few things. So the git reset, I just alias it to reset, and now I can just type reset -- head ~1. So this will just reset the commit that I have done now, and now I'm back in my state now. There is the same for the revert command. And you will also see that there are various aliases for integrating branches or resolving conflicts. I can show up the merge tool that we have configured to be Visual Studio Code with the MT shortcut. Merge, I just need to type merge to do a git merge. The same applies to the rebase command. And if I want to, and if I am already in a rebase procedure, I can run RBC to say, okay, git rebase continue, or rebase abort. And maybe you could also add another alias for skipping a commit, maybe RBS or something like that. So you're totally free to define your own aliases that are helpful for you. So the same applies to cherry pick. And then there is one last thing that I want to mention. This is the logging, and I said in one of the previous videos that Git log has a huge API. You could do a whole course around the Git log thing, and there are lots of cool people out there in the open source community that bring together all of these parameters to build a beautiful Git logs. And I placed for you the GLS alias, and this is the git log command that we have used recently in our previous videos. So if you type GLS, you will see the git log that we are familiar with. And if you type GL, this will bring up a whole more complex graph for you with lots of additional information. So you now know that the last commit was done 25 hours ago. You will also see the commit message, and you will also see the author here. And it just looks a little bit weird since I have only the half of the window. If I make this full screen and do this again, you will see that this is a really beautiful graph showing lots of information. And you will get those graph or Git log configurations from the internet. Just type pretty Git log in at Google or at every search machine you like, and you will find a link on Stack Overflow where we get exactly this configuration. And as I told you before, I will also place the link in the show notes to this alias file, so you can copy this command if you want to. So, and the last thing is that you also can use push, pull, clone just to make all these cool server commands. And yeah, so this should really give you an idea how you can speed up your work on the terminal with Git by simply just applying some aliases to it. Hopefully you find some of these aliases helpful for you as well, and I wish you lots of fun by defining your own aliases. By the way, if you still have any question about the video or if you have any further question, please do not hesitate to ask me and leave me a comment below. Thank you.